Hi guys, I'm gonna sort of discuss this book in more detail. I mentioned it in my wrap up, but I was trying to be sort of vague, so in case people didn't want to be spoiled. So I don't know if I'm gonna review it per se, but I definitely want to discuss the central topics of it because I think it's really fascinating. I didn't expect this to amount to very much. I thought it would just be like a regular thriller where you read it and then you move on because that's all there is. But this is actually like really philosophical, and maybe it's just like my perspective right now because I'm in this stage where I'm sort of trying to figure out who I am and like what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And this book sort of touched on a nerve for me because I've always been really fascinated in like the idea of what makes you you. I know that's something we discuss as a society so much because they're always like, you gotta figure out who you are and you gotta be yourself, only be yourself. And it's like, well, what is myself? It's like I'm always held to the belief of like what you do is who you are, so like your actions tell what your basic personality and that's tell basically who you are. But a lot of people are like, well, what if you stripped everything away that made you you? Would you still be you? And I always felt like that was sort of a weird question because A, it's never going to happen. Nothing's ever going to be, your whole life isn't going to be taken away from you. Some aspect of your personality is still going to stay with you. And I don't know, I always found that really fascinating. But in this book, Jason's life basically is torn away, and he sees all his other lives that could have happened, and he sees what he became in all those different lives. And so I don't know, it's just very interesting to me that this book it's so insightful because it gets at the question of like, what really matters when it comes to defining who you are. And in this book, of course, it's that his family defined himself, defined who he is. But I don't know because that sort of goes back to how society always tells you that who you are is your associations. Like, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a member of this club, and I'm a member of this association, and that's who I am. And so I felt like that was sort of playing into that. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but it's just like who you are is the defining question of your life, and you don't expect to get hit over the head with such an interesting idea in a book that is basically like a shoot 'em up thriller. There's so much action and violence in this book, and you're not really expecting anything of substance, and then you start thinking about your own life, and you think about what would you do in this situation. And of course, most people would never even think about like multiple realities. To me, multiple realities, like people are always like, there's other versions of you and there's other worlds, and they get really excited about it. But to me, it's like, why does it matter? I mean, A, I don't really think there are multiple worlds because what's the point of that? And B, even if there are, I'm never going to interact with those other worlds. I'm not going to be in a situation like this book, so what does it matter? If there is another version of me, great, I hope she's having a good life. But I'm not worried about that other Emily if she exists. So, I don't know, I was wondering if this book made anybody else think about like who they are and what their perception is and what makes them them because it's I keep saying but it's a defining question of our lives. Like figuring out what you're meant to do, and of course, it's sort of related because several other books, and I keep like in my Sunday school class we're talking about the purpose-driven life, and then like on Sunday this past week there was a sermon about like how growth is painful, and I sort of feel like God is talking to me and telling me something, and maybe even using this book because God can use anything, but that would be pretty crazy if He was using some crazy violent book to tell me that I should be thinking more seriously about who I am and what I'm meant to be doing. So anyway, I'm rambling, and I didn't really discuss this book at all, but I hope you're having a great day, and feel free to discuss anything down in the comments about who you are and how you figure that out, and whether you got anything deep out of this book or whether I'm just crazy I don't know why. I'm crazy, but yeah. So yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.